What the heck happened at the Kansas City Super Bowl parade? The parade that you're not allowed to talk about, where one person was killed and 20 people were injured. What we know so far is that police have taken custody into three people taken in custody, and recovered firearms, but yet has not disclosed the motive. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves said the shooting happened despite a heavy police presence because of bad actors. Hundreds of law enforcement officers were policing the parade and said, which allowed for a quick response. And I don't know if you've seen the videos. It wasn't the police that necessarily were responding the fastest. It was the people in the crowd, which is incredible in today's crime economy, where it seems like you're not allowed to intervene. To intervene is racist. To intervene is a white supremacist move. To intervene is colonialism or some crap that we can't even put a finger on. To intervene will get you locked up faster than the actual gunman will be locked up. Law enforcement ask anyone who have any videos and stuff like that. But what do we know? Okay. We don't know much. And it begs to ask the question, why? Why? And this isn't a video necessarily about the shooting, as always. My gripe is always with the media. Because the media has an agenda always. They're not honest. They're not real people. They're not like you and me when they see a story. They're not like, okay, here's the facts. Let me tell you what actually happened. They don't do stuff like that. They want to drum up clicks and they want to drum up your emotion. And this story doesn't do it for them. Why? Why, might you ask? What is the reason? Let's watch this video real quick of one of the guys that tackled one of the human beings. What a freaking absolute hoss of a human being.
One guy was hollering and saying, stop him, or catch him, tackle him, whatever. And he's just bailing running. And out of nowhere, I heard that guy hollering, so I'm just like, okay, well, I'm right here. And I didn't think about it. It was just a reaction. I didn't hesitate. It was just do it. So I went to go tackle him, and another gentleman did the same thing. And as I'm tackling him, I see his weapon either fall out of his hand or out of his sleeve because he was wearing a long jacket or like a Carhartt. So when I seen that hit the ground, I'm like, oh, we got to take this guy down. And so, like I said, I did, and another good Samaritan did, and we held him down. And it seemed like forever, but it probably wasn't. It was like 30 seconds holding him down, and me and the other gentleman are hollering at ongoers, where's the cops? Get the cops over here, get the cops over here. We got him. One guy.
It's amazing. Here's one of the shooters that were apprehended. Okay. This isn't a story about white supremacy, black supremacy. This is a story of the media. When a black person decides to go out and shoot, nothing. Crickets. When a transgender goes out and shoots, we'll do a little bit. Crickets after that. Let's not go into it. The story is more important to figure out what the pronouns the shooter actually used to make sure we don't offend the shooter. Because that's what's more important in today's culture. Not actually death, it's pronouns. God, that's not a sad state of affairs. I don't know what the frick it is. God. Black on black crime happens in Chicago every single weekend. Nobody talks about it. Crickets. You talk about it, you're racist. How dare you? How dare you point out actual statistics, actual crime facts? That is a white supremacist take. Not a logical person take. Why are people afraid to go to the west side of Chicago? Is it because of black people? No. God. But this story will get shoved down. Why aren't celebrities standing up saying, you know what? We have to end this type of violence. They're not going to say anything. No one's telling them what to say. And I think that's the most important thing as well. These celebrities get a phone call. Hey, we need to have a video about this because we're paying you to be a spokesperson. We're paying you to be the psyop for everyone. The moral compass is only predicated on what celebrities say and do not say. This just depresses me. because the response isn't that we need more gun confiscation, gun laws. I know that that's like the idiot boomer take, is that if we just need to have common sense gun reform. Really? Because when criminals decide to do a crime, they're thinking about it with common sense. How can I common sensely purchase my firearm and common sensely go around and take out a bunch of people? No, they don't do that. I think there's like this weird sect of people in the world that think criminals are like decent human beings deep down inside. A guy that shoots another guy without blinking, without, just smiling while he does it, is deep down inside is like a genuine, beautiful human being that's just misrepresented or is struggling to find work. And if he just had a job at McDonald's, he would be happy. It was like that Dave Chappelle skit back in the day, where he would get that job at McDonald's and all his friends jumped him for his money and his food that he'd bring home. And then his girlfriend started cheating on him because he worked all the time. And there is a problem in this country that no one wants to talk about. And it's in our lower income neighborhoods, and it has a lot to do with crime. And it's funny that the media is so quick to talk about, white men and how big of a problem they are. And yes, they will take the most extreme examples to create an entire narrative. And I'm not trying to do this either. I'm not saying like all black people act like that. I think that's insane as well. I would never be like the media. That's ridiculous. But I find it weird and telling that they will make the story go away. And it's like, when a white person decides to do something like this, social media is plastered everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. We have to have a conversation. These white men are unbelievable. How do we stop this from happening? Give our guns to the government immediately. These people are like, you know what? That really sucks. Actually, thoughts and prayers are cool now. Now that we know who the suspect is, thoughts and prayers are fine. But if it's a white guy to do it, T's and P's are not okay. And that's a huge problem. Let me know your thoughts on this. What is the answer to this? What is the answer for media's response in some of our crime? That if it fits their narrative, that this kind of narrative isn't emotionally charged enough and not talked about enough, so therefore they won't run it. Because you're not allowed to talk about that. If you talk about inner city crime, and again, white people commit crimes too in the inner city. It's not just a black thing. It's ridiculous. But if you talk about like low income crime and stuff like that, or even black on black crime, white trash on white trash crime, whatever, you're not allowed to talk about that because there's some kind of power dynamic that you're not allowed to say. And it's just ridiculous. And I think it's the reason why our country has more anxiety than ever, afraid to talk about subjects. There are some subjects you're not allowed to say anything about. And because of that, because you are told, you tell yourself, I'm not allowed to have this thought. I'm not allowed to have this thought process. I'm not allowed to connect the dots. I'm not allowed to have my Scott Adams moment. If you don't know who he is, I'm sorry. Then you just have to accept it. And I don't want to be that way because I think it hinders us as a country. If we can't logically and honestly have conversations, then it's going to be the end of us, because it's just like having a broken arm and you go into a doctor complaining about your eye feels scratchy. There are bigger issues in this country than what's going on around the world, and nobody wants to talk about it. The biggest issues in this country is our crime and how it's handled, the border, homeless people, and corporate oligarchies in this country. And nobody wants to talk about it. Let's not talk about that part. There might be bigger problems. You let me know what your thoughts are on that. Of course, politicians lying, controlling your life, all that kind of stuff. But I have a huge problem. This is like immediate issues. Like, we shouldn't have neighborhoods in this country where it's just unsafe to be. If that's the case, then this country will never succeed. Have a wonderful day. And remember, there are some stories that are okay to talk about, and then there are some stories you're not allowed to talk about. And you have to ask yourself, why can't I talk about this? Because it's an emotional topic. And as a white man in America, let me just say something. I take heed to that. And I acknowledge that I stand on the Wakata people's land, and I'm going to do everything I can to give it back. Have a wonderful day. And remember, Chinque.